Hello students, this is the continuation of my previous video on functional areas of the brain, that is the cerebrum. We'll continue further. These are the visual senses, okay? Vision, that is sight. Now which are the areas for vision? Primary visual area, visual association area and higher visual association area, okay? So primary visual area is area 17. Okay, now you can see here, this is the visual area. Okay, this is the visual area. Okay, so primary visual area is area 17. Okay, so the primary visual area, you can see here, this is the area 17. Just now I shown you, this is area 17. It's a primary visual area. Visual association area is area 18 and 19. And higher visual association area is area number 39. So this is completely the visual senses, 17, 18, 19 and 39. Okay, so primary visual area is area number 17. Visual association area is area 18 and 19. And higher visual association area is area 39. Okay, so here on the medial surface you can see 17, 18, 19. 17, 18, 19. So this is the primary visual area and visual association area. Okay, clear? Now we'll see the visual association area, that is area 18 and 19. These are the visual association area. Okay, so area 18 and 19. This is the visual association area. Okay. Now, parastriated area, that is area 18, visual area 2. Okay. And peristriated area, that is area 19, visual area 3. Okay. Now, again I'll repeat. This is 17. Okay, this is the superolateral surface and this is the medial surface. See, in the superolateral surface, this is primary visual area, area 17. Visual association area, area 18, 19. And higher visual association area, area 39. Visual association area is area number 18, 19, 18, 19. Parastriated area is area 18. This is visual area 2. Parastriated area is area 18. This is known as parastriate area. Okay, just remember, this is parastriate area, area 18. This is visual area number 2. Okay, so 18 is visual area 2. And peristriate area, area number 19, and this is visual area 3. So visual area 2, 18, that is parastriate area, and visual area 3, that is 19, that is peristriate area. Okay, now what is the function? Area 18, 19 is for occipital eye field. Okay, medial conjugate movements involuntarily. So the conjugate movements of the eye, involuntary, no, that movements are not in our control, it is involuntary. Okay, so that is controlled by area 18 and 19, occipital eye field. Okay, so these are required for medial conjugate movements involuntarily. So this is the visual area, area 17, 18, 19 and 39. Primary visual area 17, high visual association area 18, 19, higher visual association area 39. Parastriated area, area 18, visual area 2, and peristriate area, area 19, visual area 3. Okay. Next we'll go to the auditory senses. Now this is the auditory area. Okay, this is visual area we have done. Now this is the auditory area of the cerebrum. There is primary auditory area. Okay, there is presence of primary auditory area. area 41, auditory association area, area 42, and higher auditory association area, area number 22. So this is in line only. See, primary auditory area, area 41. Okay, so area 41 is the primary auditory area. Primary auditory area, area 41. Auditory association area, area 42. And higher auditory association area, area 22. Okay. So this is 41, 42, 22. This is for audition. This is the auditory area. 41 is primary auditory area. 42 is auditory association area. 42. And 22 is higher auditory association area. Clear? Auditory area is for hearing. Clear? Now we'll go to the psychical cortex. Anterior part of the temporal lobe. Okay, there is a cortex which is known as psychical cortex, which is present on the anterior part of the temporal lobe. That is the temporal pole. Okay. Now you know there are various poles which are present. So this is the temporal lobe and this is the temporal pole. So psychical cortex is present on the anterior part of the temporal lobe. So this is the anterior part of the temporal lobe. Front part, this is the temporal lobe. This is the anterior part, this is the posterior part. So on the anterior part of the temporal lobe, there is presence of temporal pole, and this consists of psychical cortex. Psychical cortex on the anterior part of the temporal lobe, that is the temporal pole. What is the function of this cortex? For memory, dreams and hallucination. That is all the psychological aspect. Memory, present and past, dreams and hallucinations. Okay. Hallucination means you are hearing or you are seeing the things which are not there, or you are imagining the things. So this is hallucinations. And auditory means hearing hallucination and visual hallucination. So functions are this: psychical cortex, which is present on the anterior part of the temporal lobe, that is the temporal pole. Okay. We'll proceed further. The speech function. Okay. This is performed by the left cerebral hemisphere. Now there are two cerebral hemispheres, as you all know, and the speech is performed by the left cerebral hemisphere regardless of the hand preference. Means it doesn't depend that which hemisphere is dominant, but speech function, that is speaking, is performed by left cerebral hemisphere. And left cerebral hemisphere is dominant or talking brain. Okay, so brain, talking brain is the left cerebral hemisphere, because there is speech area, speech function is performed by the left cerebral hemisphere. It doesn't depends upon which hand is preference of the patient. Right hemisphere is non-dominant or mute brain. Okay, so for speech function it is performed by the left cerebral hemisphere regardless of hand preference. Hand preference means what? The person is righty or lefty, it doesn't depend on this. Okay, it is clear that speech function is by left cerebral hemisphere. Hence it is known as dominant or talking brain. Right hemisphere is non-dominant or mute brain. Okay, so this is about the, now what is the speech function? Dominant hemisphere has 4 speech center, 3 sensory and 1 motor. Okay, so left cerebral hemisphere, okay, has it's a dominant hemisphere for speech, and it has 4 speech center. Which are the 4 speech center? 3 sensory and 1 motor. So sensory speech area and motor speech area. You understood? We are talking about the speech function. In speech function, the left cerebral hemisphere is dominant, and this speech function has 4 centers. उसमें से 4 centers, out of 4 centers, there are 3 sensory and 1 motor. Now, which are the sensory? Which are the sensory Sensory is area 22, area 39 and area 40. So area 22, area 39, okay, and area 40. So area 22, area 39 and area 40. These are sensory speech area. Speech area is present on the left cerebral hemisphere. It's a dominant. Speech area is divided into sensory and motor. So sensory is present on the area 22, area 39 and area 40. So these are the sensory speech area. Okay, this is the sensory speech area. Here you can see this is the sensory speech area. Area number 22, 39 and 40. So this is the sensory speech area. Okay, now what is area 22? Okay, area 22. Area 22 is higher auditory area or Wernicke's area. Okay, so area 22 is also known as Wernicke's area or higher auditory association area. Okay, area 39 is higher visual association area that I have spoken right now only, and area 40 is higher association for somatic senses. So these are the senses which will lead to speech. So sensory speech area, area 22 is Wernicke's area. Okay, area 22 is Wernicke's area. Area 39 is higher visual association area and area 40 is higher association area for somatic senses. So this is area 22 is Wernicke's area. Okay students, area 22 is the Wernicke's area of the brain. Okay, this Wernicke's area is for speech area. Okay, so this is the Wernicke's area, posterior speech area. This is the Wernicke's area. Okay, so area 22 is the Wernicke's area. Okay, okay, sensory speech area. So you can see 39, 40 sensory speech area of Wernicke. 22 is the higher auditory association area. Okay, and these are the sensory speech area of Wernicke's. Okay. Now I'll go to the motor speech area, that is area 44 and 45. Okay, you can see here this is the motor speech area, area 44 and 45. See, this is the motor speech area 44 and 45. Okay, this is known as the Broca's area. Okay, so speech area is sensory and motor. So sensory is 22, 39 and 40 and motor is 44 and 45. This is the Broca's area. Okay, the speech center area 22, 39, 40, it receives its input from hearing, vision, touch and proprioception. Information is processed in area 22 and projected to Broca's area through arcuate fasciculus. Okay, now arcuate fasciculus. So sensory area is, you see this is the sensory area 22, 39 and 40. So if I repeat again, 22, 39 and 40. Okay, this is 22, 39 and 40. These are the sensory speech area. It will receive input from hearing, from vision, from touch and proprioception. The information is processed in area 22. It is processed area in area 22 because why? It is an higher auditory association area. It's an association area. So it will get processed here. Okay, and this is projected. This information goes to area Broca's area, that is 44 and 45. So from here 40, 39 and 22. Here it is received, 22 it is processed, and then it goes to 44 and 45. And this going is with the help of arcuate fasciculus. This going is with the help of arcuate fasciculus. Okay. Now this is the arcuate fasciculus. You can see this is the Wernicke's area and this is the Broca's area. This is receiving and this is sending. So this is Broca's area. So this is the sensory speech area and this is the motor speech area. Okay. This is Broca's area is the motor speech area and this is the sensory speech area. This is receiving and it is sending to the motor speech area. So it will be leading to speech. It will lead to talking. Okay. So Wernicke's area is the sensory speech area and Broca's area is the motor speech area, and the information from Wernicke's area to Broca's area will go with the help of arcuate fasciculus. Okay. Now what is arcuate fasciculus? It's a bundle of axons that connects Broca's area and Wernicke's area in the brain. It is an association fiber tract connecting the temporal cortex and the frontal lobe. Okay. So it's a bundle of axons. These are the bundle of axons which is connecting the temporal to the frontal. Because in temporal you have the Wernicke's area, that is the sensory speech area, and the Broca's area, that is the motor speech area. So that connection is with the help of arcuate fasciculus. Okay. Motor and sensory may be transferred to right hemisphere in child up to 6 to 8 years in case of cerebral injury. So whenever there is a cerebral injury, there is left cerebral hemisphere is a dominant hemisphere for speech function. Now this could be transferred to the right hemisphere in the child up to 6 to 8 years. From left hemisphere it can go to the right hemisphere in case of brain injury. Okay, in the child. Now what will happen if there is lesion of speech center, if there is problem in the Wernicke's and the Broca's area? Lesion involving speech center, dominant hemisphere, it will lead to aphasia. And what is aphasia? It's a language disorder that affects a person's ability to communicate due to stroke or head injury or slow growing brain tumor or disease. Now whenever there is lesion in the Broca's area or the Wernicke's area, it will lead to aphasia. And what is aphasia? In which a patient is not able to understand the speech and not able to speak. And this aphasia is because of brain injury. The injury may be because of stroke or because of head injury or because of the brain tumor or any brain disease. Okay, clear? So this is the sensory speech area, Wernicke's area, and motor speech area is the Broca's area, and these are connected by arcuate fasciculus. Okay, clear? Now we'll proceed further. There are two types of sensory, that is sensory aphasia and motor aphasia. Aphasia is unable to speak and unable to understand. Now conduct aphasia. What is lesion of arcuate fasciculi, that is fluent comprehension is intact. Repetition of spoken language is extremely difficult. Now the problem would be in the Wernicke's area, that is the sensory speech area. Okay. The problem could be in the motor, so it is not, the person is not able to understand. Motor speech area, the person is not able to speak. And conduct aphasia means this area is normal. Motor speech area and this area is normal, but there is lesion in the arcuate fasciculus. There is lesion in the arcuate fasciculus. So here there is a problem. So there will be no conduction. So that is known as conduct aphasia. So the lesion is in the arcuate fasciculus. Fluent comprehensions are intact, but repetition of the spoken language is extremely difficult. Okay. So this was about the functional areas of the brain. In summary, the main cerebral sulci, the lateral sulcus, which you all know, okay. The main cerebral sulci, this is the lateral sulcus, the central sulcus, okay, the parieto-occipital sulcus, these are the main sulci, and also one sulci which is the calcarine sulcus. Okay, this calcarine sulcus I have shown you when I did the medial surface. Okay, this is the calcarine sulcus. When I explained you about the medial surface of the cerebrum, about the, this is the calcarine sulcus. So there are 4 main sulci. Okay, the functional areas are motor area, sensor area, and psychical area. Motor area is primary motor area. Okay, motor area is the primary motor area. So here you can see the primary motor area, the premotor area. Okay, then the supplementary motor area and the prefrontal area. Okay, this I have explained in my videos. The sensory areas are primary sensory area, secondary sensory area for somatic senses, sensory association area, and higher association area. This all I have explained you right now. And the primary sensory area is somatic area, visual area, and auditory area. Okay, so with this we finish the functional areas of the cerebrum. Okay, thank you students.